Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a comparison of three smartphones below the 15K price segment which have really great hardware to offer in this price segment. These are the Vivo Z1 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro, and we have the Redmi Note 7 Pro. So these are the three smartphones we are going to do compare in this video. So these three smartphones are really great hardware. We have the Snapdragon 675 on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, while we have the Snapdragon 710 on the Realme 3 Pro, and now we have the Snapdragon 712 on the Z1 Pro. So these three devices are really competitively priced at below the 15K price segment and offer great hardware, great cameras, good battery life. So which is the best phone in different aspects. So that's what we are going to talk about in this video. So this comparison will be a 12-point comparison. We'll cover all the aspects and we'll see which is better in these aspects. So let's get started with the detailed comparison of the Vivo Z1 Pro with the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro. First up, let's have a look at the design aspect. So in terms of design, the Vivo Z1 Pro has a curved back panel. It feels quite good in hands, although this is slightly heavier on the weight because it has a large 5000 mAh capacity battery. The design language looks good. The triple camera setup, the fingerprint scanner, then we have a in-display camera or the punch hole camera, so that's available. Apart from that, the device looks quite good as well. So design wise, this is definitely a good device, but the thickness is slightly on the higher side, but nevertheless it feels quite good. It is also the largest device in terms of display side, so it's slightly on the bulkier side when compared to the other two smartphones. Now talking about the Realme 3 Pro, this actually feels quite compact even in terms of the design. You can also see this also has a curved back panel which actually feels really nice, and the camera placement and everything looks quite okay. It's quite compact to use as well. The form factor is pretty good, and since it has a curved back panel, it feels really good in hands. Now talking about the design of the Redmi Note 7 Pro, here again you can see that this design looks pretty good. We have the dual camera setup. It has a flat back panel. That's something which is quite different from the other two devices. So holding the device for a longer period of time may not be that easy when compared to the other two, because those have a curved back panel. Here we have a completely flat back panel, so you can actually feel the thickness towards the edges. So that's the thing about the design. Otherwise the device feels quite good. We have a dot notch on the Redmi Note 7 Pro in terms of display, and here we have a water drop notch, and on the Vivo Z1 Pro we have the in-display camera or the punch hole camera. So those are different aspects. So punch hole camera definitely is a newer technology, so in the design aspect we would say the Vivo has that advantage, but overall we feel looking at the design aspect, the ease of use, we feel the Realme 3 Pro feels quite good in hands when you use the device for quite long time. So that's the design aspect. So Realme 3 Pro is probably our choice in terms of the design aspect. Now talking about the build quality. So when it comes to build quality, there is only one device which stands out. That's the Redmi Note 7 Pro with the glass finishing. So this actually feels really premium for the price segment. We have glass finishing on the back and the front panel. So we have Gorilla Glass protection on the front and the back, and the build quality is superior on this device, and looks really nice in hands as well. So overall the build quality is definitely the best on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Now talking about the Realme 3 Pro, here again the build quality is pretty good, although it's a polycarbonate material and we have been using this device for quite some time. Even then there are no scratches on the back panel, no visible scratches actually. So that is pretty good actually, because over a period of time you can actually see some scratches towards the edges, but here we don't see any sort of scratches. So that's why we feel even with the plastic material, the build quality is definitely good on the Realme 3 Pro. Now talking about the Vivo Z1 Pro. So here again we have polycarbonate material. We have a curved finishing which actually feels like glass, but then it's not glass, it's a polycarbonate material. But what we felt was the material quality actually was not as good as the Realme 3 Pro, but it actually feels quite good, but then it may not be as good as the Realme 3 Pro. So in terms of build quality, the top one would be the Redmi Note 7 Pro, followed by the Realme 3 Pro, and at the bottom would be the Vivo Z1 Pro. Z1 Pro is not bad actually, but comparing to the other two smartphones, we feel the Vivo Z1 Pro is slightly on the lower side. So that's the build quality of these three smartphones. Now talking about the display. Now we have a full HD plus resolution display on all the three smartphones. We have IPS LCD panels on all the devices. So we again have a dot notch display on this device. It feels quite good. You can see the bezels at the bottom are slightly on the higher side, but still it feels quite good. The display is pretty vibrant, colorful, and the brightness levels are also quite good on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Now talking about the Vivo Z1 Pro. So Z1 Pro has again a large capacity, large display. It's 6.53 inches, so it's the largest out there. But then it also has this in-display camera, or the punch hole camera, which actually is probably the latest technology, much better than the notch implementation. So that's an advantage here. The display quality again is an IPS LCD panel, and it feels quite good overall. Then there is no Gorilla Glass support on this device. As of now, we don't have any information on any Gorilla Glass support on the Vivo Z1 Pro, but the display as such looks quite good. Now the Realme 3 Pro. So this is again an IPS LCD panel, and this is one display which we like the most because it's vibrant, crisp, and also the brightness levels are really good. So in outdoor conditions, we felt the Realme 3 Pro display was easily the best out of the three. It also has a Gorilla Glass protection. So two smartphones have the Gorilla Glass, the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro, but Vivo Z1 Pro does not offer that. So display wise, we feel the top one would be the Realme 3 Pro. Now next is the software. The most important aspect is the software, because all the three smartphones run on Android 9.0. Now the difference between these three smartphones is the UI. We have three different UIs. We have the MIUI 10, then ColorOS, and FunTouchOS. So these are the three UIs. Now talking about the MIUI. So MIUI is one of the really popular UIs out there. It is pretty smooth, slick UI, lots of features are available. Then it also comes with a lot of additional options like dual apps, protecting apps, privacy options. All those things are included. So it is pretty fluid and feels really nice. But the major issue with the MIUI is the ads. So we all know that MIUI has ads, so that's the revenue model for Xiaomi. So MIUI has ads. So if you're a person who don't love ads, then definitely MIUI is not for you. But overall, MIUI feels quite good. Now next is the ColorOS. So the Realme 3 Pro comes with the ColorOS. So previously ColorOS was not that great, and we have seen this ColorOS on a lot of Oppo smartphones. But with the latest version of ColorOS, company has improved a lot of things. We have this app drawer included, and lots of improvements in terms of performance as well. And you can also see the notification toggles have been redesigned. So overall, it's a major redesign to the UI, and it actually feels quite good. It's much better than the previous implementation. And overall looks wise also it feels quite good, even though the company says that it's more closer to the stock Android, even though it's not, but still this feels pretty good in terms of the UI. Now talking about the FunTouchOS. So FunTouchOS is something which Vivo has been using for quite long time. So now we have the FunTouchOS 9.0. Now here we don't have an app drawer like the MIUI 10, but here again we have plethora of options to choose, like smart motion, smart mirroring, and a whole lot of features are included. But the problem with the FunTouchOS is it's not actually very user friendly, because the notification toggles you have to pull down from the bottom. So it takes some time to get used to the UI. So that's a major issue. But once you get used to the UI, it's quite a good UI because it offers plethora of modes and options. So some features are kind of different from other UIs. So when you're coming from other UI, getting accustomed to the Vivo's FunTouchOS might not be very easy. So that's the only issue with the Vivo's FunTouchOS. Now talking about the performance side. Now all the three smartphones are powered by really good processors. We have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 675 on the Redmi Note 7 Pro. We have the 710 on the Realme 3 Pro, and Snapdragon 712 on the Vivo Z1 Pro. So all are really powerful devices. So in terms of day-to-day usage, we feel all are equally good. No lags whatsoever. It was pretty fluid UI, no issues whatsoever. So in that aspect, we would say there is not a clear winner in terms of the performance side. All are equally good and does the job pretty well. Now in terms of memory management, we found that the FunTouchOS was kind of surprising. It was able to do much better memory management than the other two devices. So you can also check out our speed test comparison to get an idea about how the phones work. Now talking about the gaming experience. So if you're a gamer, if you love gaming, then the only one device which we prefer in this price segment is the Vivo's Z1 Pro, because while gaming you can see that the punch hole camera is at the bottom, so it will not actually interfere with your gaming. So that's something which is pretty good on the Vivo Z1 Pro. Apart from that, there are lots of options in the gaming mode, and it is actually optimized for gaming. So we can also check out our gaming video of the Z1 Pro. So gaming is definitely better on the Z1 Pro. Now the second device in terms of gaming, we would pick the Realme 3 Pro, because the gaming experience was pretty good. Even the Redmi Note 7 Pro with 6675 was pretty good, but here and there some issues, minor shutters were there. Not a major lag, but we felt that the games were a bit more smoother on the Realme 3 Pro. So that was the gaming performance of these three devices. Now next would be the most important aspect, the cameras. So here we have the tried and tested 48 megapixel Sony IMX sensor. That's a 586 sensor on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, which is really good and one of the really capable smartphones in terms of the camera in this price segment. It is followed by a 5 megapixel depth sensor and a 13 megapixel selfie camera. So that's the camera of the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Now talking about the camera on the Realme 3 Pro, it has a 16 megapixel rear camera. Then we also have a 5 megapixel depth sensor and a 25 megapixel selfie camera, which is again good. Now talking about the Vivo Z1 Pro, it is the only smartphone among the three to sport a triple camera. So we have a 16 and 8 and 2 megapixel camera. 8 megapixel is ultra wide angle camera or a super wide angle camera, and we also have a 32 megapixel in display camera. So that's the camera aspect. Now in terms of camera performance, we have done a comparison with the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro. So we'll break down the camera aspect into 4 major aspects. One is video recording. So in terms of video recording, we feel the Vivo Z1 Pro was having much better colors. Color reproduction was closer to reality. While all the devices have electronic image stabilization, stabilization was a tad better on the Realme 3 Pro, but then the colors were a bit saturated. Redmi Note 7 Pro video recording was not that great. It had some issues while panning, and it does get stuck here and there. So it's not the best out there. So in terms of video recording, Vivo Z1 Pro would be our choice. Now next step would be the daylight captures. So daylight captures, we would say Vivo Z1 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro both were equally good in terms of daylight performance, and the Realme 3 Pro was a bit saturated in terms of the imaging ability. So in terms of daylight condition, we feel the Z1 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro does equally good job. Now talking about the low light performance. So low light performance, this is one area where the Realme 3 Pro takes the lead. It has really good low light performance, especially with the latest update. The low light performance is really superb and much better than the other two smartphones. So low light performance is definitely great on the Realme 3 Pro. Now the selfie experience. So all the three smartphones have pretty good selfie cameras, but our personal choice would be the Vivo's Z1 Pro. It has a 32 megapixel camera. It's not because just the 32 megapixel camera. The camera processing looks really great. It has really sharp images for selfies. The edge detection was also superior. So overall, the Vivo Z1 Pro is our choice in terms of the selfie camera. So those are the 4 aspects in terms of the camera. So we feel out of the 3, there is no clear winner basically, because all the smartphones have their own advantages or great aspect in terms of the cameras. Because Z1 Pro is better in video and daylight shots. The Redmi Note 7 Pro was really good in daylight conditions and portraits. Even the Z1 Pro was good in portraits. Low light it was the Realme 3 Pro, and the selfies it was again the Realme 3 Pro and the Vivo Z1 Pro. So overall, we can't say there is one clear winner in terms of the camera performance. If you look at the sub 15K price segment, we feel these are the 3 best camera smartphones available right now. Now next is the battery performance. So without doubt the battery life is better on the Vivo Z1 Pro, because it has a large 5000 mAh capacity battery, and followed by the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro. So with the Vivo Z1 Pro, we can easily get almost like 9 to 9.5 or even about 10 hours of screen on time. So that's something which is pretty good, and overall the battery life was really great on the Vivo Z1 Pro. Now next is the charging method and the charging time. So here we have 18 watt charger on the Vivo Z1 Pro. We do not have any charger by default on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, even though it supports QC 4.0, which is again 18 watt charging. Now the Realme 3 Pro has 20 watt VOOC charging. So in terms of charging technology, the VOOC charger is the best out there. So Realme 3 Pro takes the lead in terms of the charging. Now next is the pricing. So Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro, both the 4GB RAM and 64GB storage are priced 13,999, while the Vivo Z1 Pro is priced 14,999. So it's 1K price higher than the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro. Now availability is another thing which a lot of the users or consumers have issues with, because Redmi Note 7 Pro was previously not available, but now it has been made available. It is available without any flash sale. So is the case with the Realme 3 Pro. Now only thing to decide is whether Vivo Z1 Pro will be a flash sale or not a flash sale. We have to wait and see, because it's available exclusively on Flipkart and it's also available in Vivo's e-stores. So that's the 12-point comparison of the Vivo Z1 Pro, the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro. Now having a look at all these 12 points, you can see that there is no clear winner in terms of overall value for money aspect. All the three smartphones are really good, power packed smartphones, top of the line hardware for this price segment, great performance, good cameras, great battery life. So everything, all the three smartphones are provided as a good package. So there is no clear winner. Now based on our evaluation, you can actually check out which is your priority. Say for example, if it is camera, then probably you can go with the Z1 Pro or the Redmi Note 7 Pro. If it is battery, then Vivo Z1 Pro is the better choice. So you have to actually prioritize what is important for you. If it is gaming, then Vivo Z1 Pro has the edge. If it is software, all the three are good, but then all have their own custom UI. So you have to make a priority what is important, and based on that you can choose one of these three smartphones. So that was a detailed comparison of the Realme 3 Pro, Vivo Z1 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro. So hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button for more videos. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.